What's the deal, Wiz fam? Look here. I don't know what this is. I just clicked on it. Cinna. We're gonna go ahead and hit him with that sub, and we're gonna hit him with that like. So this is for disturbing moments in Mexican TV. So I got nothing. Let's just see what's going on. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button.
On camera horror videos. They fascinated me since I was really little. And being that I'm Latin American, I got to experience both creepy horror videos from the States, but also creepy horror videos shared around in Latin America. Latin America has so many examples of disturbing things caught on camera or alleged paranormal sightings and folklore that my little bean heart got all the horror stories it could desire. But not all of these are well known by English speaking audiences, so I felt like this would be a fun video to make for y'all. Whether this is your first time hearing about this kind of stuff or you're here to enjoy some nostalgic scary incidents, here are 4 disturbing moments in Mexican TV. El Chavo de Ocho, Stalker or Ghost. El Chavo de Ocho is a very popular TV sitcom series that started in 1973 and ran for 7 seasons. The show is about a boy named Chavo, and yes, the children are all played by adults. It was part of the comedic charm. Anyways, people were watching the show and started reporting seeing faces around the sets of the show, but this could easily just be people working on the show accidentally getting in the shot. But on one episode during the credits, a shadowy face appeared that didn't look like a mistake, more like someone or something trying to peer and stalk the actors on set. Take a look.
Shit. Right here. I saw it.
Odd, I know. The face is hard to make out and creeped out a lot of people. Rumors started to spread that it might have been a ghost caught on camera, but a rumor that caught more attention was that there was a stalker on set. Allegedly, cast members started reporting that they felt an ominous presence and believed that they were being watched. Fans of the show started going back a few episodes to see if they could find more examples of this alleged stalker, and sure enough, they found it. Shadowy silhouette seemingly peeking and occasionally making itself seen in order to catch a glimpse of the cast. This was the story that followed the show El Chavo for years, and
But what if it's somebody who worked on a set and then passed away and then they never left the set. They're just coming to say what's up to the new crew type deal. Like, I don't know, man. Pretty sad.
believed it when I was really little. But recently an actor on the show named Edgar Vivar confirmed that none of this is true. There was never any complaints on set of feeling stalked, and the strange shadow person is likely an actor or someone a part of the production staff. I chose this clip because of how iconic the rumor was amongst Latin Americans. People really believed this for decades and had a huge impact on how some people felt about the show. All of a sudden there was this layer of uneasiness people had watching it, never even realizing that it was just fake rumors. But let's move on to the next video, where the person who filmed it swears that they actually did find a real ghost on camera. The Cemetery Ghost Girl. In 2006, Incognito, a comedy show on Televisa hosted by a man named Facundo, aired an episode for a Halloween special where Facundo went exploring at a cemetery at 1 a.m. He seems to be just kind of messing around, and the bit was most likely intended to be him kind of be forced to put himself in an uncomfortable, spooky situation. But around 1:28 a.m., Facundo
ejercicio es este. Y lo propongo para todo aquel que se sienta tan escéptico como yo me.
Look at the quality on it though. Like, oh my god, these be the scariest ones, man. Comment down below if you know what I'm talking about.
¡Hagan algo! ¡Métanse en mi cuerpo si quieren, si existen!
As you can see there, it looks like a girl with a distorted looking face, which scared him off and had him screaming for his TV crew. Interestingly enough, 14 years later, Facundo would go on a podcast to elaborate a little more on what happened that night at the cemetery. He claimed that he originally thought he might have just seen a cat out in the distance, but when looking through the camera, he saw that girl come into view. When asked if it was fake, he claimed that they weren't even going to shoot anything that day. But he just on a whim decided to record himself by the cemetery for the upcoming Halloween special, having no other idea what to shoot for it. Presumably his crew took him there, then stayed wherever they parked, so he believes that it couldn't have been a prank pulled on him by a member of his staff. And if you remember, he already knows where his staff is. He runs directly to them. Facundo is adamant that what he saw was real, but I'd like to hear what y'all think. And with that, let's move on to the next one. Witch caught on tape. This one's a little bit of a goofier one, but it still managed to literally get on the news and even had police get involved. Premier Impacto is a news program that's kind of known not just for covering the regular news, but purposely going out of their way to find crazy stories from around Latin America to show their audience. And in 2006, Jeronimo Flores, a man who's in a club about UFOs, claimed to have captured footage of what looks like a cloaked person flying across the sky above some mountains. And oddly enough, a police officer backs up his claim, saying that he saw it too, cloaked and everything, and even claims that they had feathers and claws. Take a look.
Los habitantes de una ciudad están atemorizados ante lo que parece ser el ataque de unos extraños seres que muchos aseguran son parecidos a brujas desde México.
Este objeto que flota sobre un cerro fue captado por un grupo de videoaficionados. La difusión de estas imágenes causaron gran conmoción.
Fue realmente una suerte que nos tocara en ese momento estar presentes.
Míralo, ahí está.
Pero esa presunta aparición era solo un caso más, hasta que el testimonio de este policía cambió el panorama.
Veo una persona vestida de negro, así con plumas, dos garras negras, así negras. Me asusto y hago cuenta que donde la veo así, pero ella iba agachada. Entonces me hago para atrás, me meto otra vez al cuarto donde estaba y de este lado, al cerrar la puerta, venía otra.
Según él, una noche cuando vigilaba este lote de autos, recibió la visita de dos seres que volaban sobre el Panteón de Santa Catarina, ubicado a espaldas del cerro donde fue grabada la enigmática figura. 2 años antes, Leonardo Samaniego relató un encuentro similar. Curiosamente, él también era un policía.
I know this sounds really outlandish to most to hear that they jump to the conclusion of witches of all things, especially coming from a UFO group, but in Mexico there are people who practice brujeria, or witchcraft in English. I'm going to heavily oversimplify a bit here, but brujeria is a religious/spiritual practice similar to how some pagans call themselves Wiccans or witches and practice their own beliefs. But unfortunately, people tend to make out things that they don't understand to be inherently demonic and evil, even though most brujas
Real shit. I like that. I like what he just said.
and witches just practice their religions in peace and don't bother anyone. There's lots of videos online of people filming what they believe are sightings of evil witches, and even some tell stories of bad encounters with brujeria. But yes, things like evil witches is a fear among some people in Latin America, which explains why they might have gone with saying that they thought it was a witch. I may do a deep dive on brujeria or alleged witch encounters or just the occult in general, because I feel like there's so much I'm oversimplifying, and it's a whole interesting rabbit hole, and also to clear some misconceptions about people who practice brujeria. I don't know, we'll see, but let's get on to the last video. Dolls moving on camera. El Mañanero is a news program. Stay with me now.
Bro, would y'all ever watch this news channel right here, bro? If he was the main face of it, bro. Like, this would trip me out so much. Like, wait, what?
Covers the news in a satirical way by having the news delivered by a clown host named Broso. I promise this gets weirder. One of their earlier episodes from the early 2000s features 2 little plush dolls that are just sitting on the desk, while Broso and another guy dressed like a Catholic monk are doing a bit. This seems innocuous enough, but people noticed something strange. People started to report that one of the dolls moved. Now mind you, if a doll were to move at all, it would likely be because it was a little slumped over at an angle and gravity eventually did its thing to move it downward. But what rubbed people the wrong way was that the doll moved its head upwards to face the camera. Take a look. This doesn't seem like it was a staged part of the bit because only Broso and the other guy are visible and it's just a simple doll. This spread a lot of unease with some audiences and clips of it were put on YouTube as early as 11 years ago. I tried to find any further information on it or if Broso ever commented on the situation, but I couldn't find anything, and Broso has actually left the program, so if it was just a small stage part of the show, we'll never know. And that was 4 disturbing moments in Mexican TV.
Man, I never watched the Mexican TV thing, but man, that shit seems to be interesting. I remember when Maury used to do something like that. He used to do like not only paternity testings, he used to do like little cases of ghost things and stuff like that. It's very old. If you used to come home watching TV from school and shit like that, 3 or 4 o'clock. But that's gonna sum it up for this one, man. Senna did his thing on this one, man. 2 weeks ago he did his shit. Hit that man with a like button, hit up over here, and into the next one.